What up, team? It's your boy Coach JD, and I'm here with my first ever YouTube video. This one's going to show you how to get and earn XP so you can get a prestige or diamond quickly while you're just sitting and binging Netflix. So let's face it, ever since word about a prestige tier came out, everybody's been wondering how they can get the most XP. Well, what I did is I took GomesDaLegend's method that he was using to get XP, added a controller trick to it so that you're not sitting there with the controller in your hand pitching mindlessly for hours on end. This is something you're going to be able to do while you're making dinner, watching TV, or playing with your dog, who knows. So first things first, you're going to need a PS4 controller with turbo. I use the Hori Fighting Commander controller that I got off Amazon, but any controller with turbo will do. Specifically, you want a controller where you can actually pick which button will stick on turbo. That way you don't have to just find something to hold the button down. You can press it once and be done with it. So once you've got a controller, you're going to want to download GomesDaLegend's roster and slider set. I'll put a link to that down below in the description. Shout out to GomesDaLegend, by the way. Once you get that done, you're going to want to start up a franchise, and you're going to load that roster set and that slider set into your franchise. Once everything is loaded, you're going to want to pick the Tampa Bay Rays for the team you're going to use. Every other team by designation of Gomes roster is garbage. They're all rated 0, so you're going to want to pick the Rays. They are the only team that has good players. Now, the rest of this trick is easy peasy. You're going to want to start your first game. Make sure when you do, you pick player lock and you player lock to the pitcher. Once you see the loading screen, go ahead and turn your turbo on to the X button and watch as your pitcher pitches the entire game. And since the other teams are so horrible, you're going to get a lot of strikeouts. Now, you know they are going to get some hits too, but it doesn't matter because you have CPU fielding on your player locked. You'll see how quickly these innings go. A lot of times you'll even get no hitters doing this. Now, something I'm sure I'm going to get as a question in the comments is this something that I can get banned for? No, not at all. This isn't an exploit. This isn't you modifying the game. This is something that just happens naturally within the game. Could they ban you for starting a franchise, playing as a pitcher, and throwing sinker balls down the middle as much as you wanted to do to your heart's content? Hell no. I mean, why would they do that? And the worst that they might do is lower the XP that you get from franchise, but that'd be a super dick move because it's already not that much right now. Speaking of XP, I'm sure you're wondering how much XP you get from each game. Well, that's going to vary. Sometimes, you know, my pitcher will have 20 strikeouts. Sometimes I'll have 5. Either way it goes, I've never lost a game doing this. You win by many, many runs. I think the most runs I've ever scored was something like 65. You know, for a better explanation of the average XP you get, you can check out Gomes' video. But I will say this. Last week on Monday, I believe it was a silver 40, and as of making this video, I am a gold 60. So I don't think there's any reason not to believe that you can't get a tier a week, you know, just playing normally and adding this into your repertoire. Now, here are some things to be on the lookout for so everything goes smoothly and you can get this done as quickly as possible as far as finishing these games. Now, in the 300 games that I've played, this has only happened 6 or 7 times, and it always happens in the 9th inning, but the CPU might pull your pitcher out. When that happens, player lock is gone. Luckily, by you having turbo on, you will still be able to finish the game very easily. The secondary fielder will catch balls once they're pitched, and you're still throwing home, so barely even any run score. But, you know, if you see it, if you're looking at the TV, you know, it's right next to you and you see it happen, you might as well just take control, get those last couple of outs. And like I said, it's something that's probably happened in less than 1% of the games that I've played. Another thing is when you're setting up your franchise, make sure you put designated hitter on, not auto or off. Now, sure, because you're pressing turbo, even if you leave it on, or leave it off rather, your guy will just strike out. But it's time that you don't need to be wasting when you're trying to get as much XP as possible. Also, you're going to want to turn all the management things to auto manage so you don't have to deal with that when you're playing. So you might ask, is it worth it for me to get a controller to do this? In my opinion, yes, definitely. Especially if you're doing the XP method right now without a controller. I mean, you're just sitting there throwing to the computer for hours on end. You got to have the control in your hand. At least this way, you press a few buttons, you walk away, you come back 7 minutes later, you start the game over. You come back 7 minutes later, you start the game over, you come back 7 minutes later. Before you know it, the XP is adding up. I want to give a big shout out to GomesDaLegend for his roster and his sliders, because without those I would have never even thought about using a turbo controller to get this XP. And honestly, I've tried doing it with just a regular roster and it works, but your pitcher gets taken out in the 7th or 8th inning, and then you have to worry about the thing I was talking about earlier. Only you have to worry about it for 3 whole innings, which, I mean, could add 10 to 12 minutes to your game. You know, I'm really happy that this was the first YouTube video I made, and I hope that you guys get some sort of, you know, are able to take advantage of it and are able to get some of this XP. I hope it helped you out. If it did at all, please like and subscribe. I have a bunch of stuff planned that I really want to do. I love sports games. I love sports gaming, and can't wait to bring you guys some more content. Until the next time, the coach is out.